How's it going, everybody, and welcome back. This is Wake Run Collapse. So, you want to be a Japanese Pokemon card collector. That is awesome news. I'm really excited about it. I've been doing it for quite some time, and I'm here to provide a few tips and pointers, which I've written down here so that I don't sit here and ramble for 20 minutes and my memory card explodes. So, if you want to be a Japanese Pokemon card collector, you have to decide how you're going to do this before you actually start. Now this is if you want to be a serious collector. If you want to get a pack here or there, I mean, that's how I collected when I was a kid, and that requires no planning. That's just the occasional, very small indulgence. But if you want to collect as a Japanese collector, you got to figure some stuff out. First one is, what's your budget? What are you willing to spend on the TCG? You can compile a weekly budget, a monthly budget, a yearly budget, however you want to do it. But you need to pick something that's going to work for you and is going to be able to be consistent. Now let's just throw a number out there. Let's say your budget's going to be $20 a week. If you've got, reasonable job, I can totally see this being a thing. Now $20 a week works out to be about $80 US a month. With that, you can purchase one booster box of every new set. Plus you can get a little bit of other stuff on the side. Which leads to the next question. What are you interested in? Do you only want to get the new sets and get a box of everything? Do you want to complete sets like crazy? Which leads, of course, to the third point. What level of completion do you seek? Now, for a lot of folks, being able to decide the first one might be easy. You can say, I have this much to spend, or I'm just checking the viewfinder to make sure it works. I have this much to spend, or I want to collect everything, and sometimes those things don't necessarily match up. Now, I can tell you from experience that when I started collecting Japanese cards 6 years ago, I never planned to complete all the sets. That was not something that was at the forefront of my mind. I wanted to get some new stuff, have some occasional content for the eventual YouTube channel that I built after a few months, and pretty much just enjoy it for what it was. I wasn't big on anything. I was a one box a set kind of guy, and sets only came out once every 3 months. That was kind of easy to do. But oftentimes there's a lack of consistency between, well, my budget is only this much, but I'm going to collect everything. Well, no, you're not. That's not going to be possible. So you have to decide what you're going to pursue. Plus, TCG's been out for like 20-something years. Are you going to go back and get all the other sets? Or are you just going to get some of them? You have to decide what you're willing to spend and if this matches up with your goals. And if it doesn't, if you're willing to accept another goal. And if you're not, if Japanese collecting really is for you in the first place. So a few things that you should know. As a newfound Japanese collector, which you have been for about 3 minutes now, you will not get everything sealed. That is impossible. You won't find everything sealed, and if you do, you better hit the lottery, because if you look on eBay right now for 3rd gen booster boxes, some of them are about $4,000 or something like that. There's a Hull on Research Tower booster box on there right now for $4,500, which I would absolutely love to be able to open for the channel if it cost about 80% less than it does right now. At $900, I'd probably splurge on it as like a once-in-a-lifetime kind of thing and buy it. $4,500 is insane. So you will not get everything sealed as boxes. You will not get everything sealed as packs. You'll have to pick through and figure out what you want to collect and accept the fact that you're going to get a lot of stuff secondhand from collections, third-hand from collections, and most importantly, it's going to take you a lot of time. Now, some of the avenues that I use to build my collection are no longer available because I already used them up. It's like going to a well and taking all the water out of it and saying, hey, I got water out of this well, and then somebody else goes to it and says, well, there's no water here anymore. I know, I took all of it. So that's something that happens with cards, especially older Japanese cards, which are a finite resource if you're trying to find them online. So you have to accept the fact that it's going to take you quite some time to complete something that's older, or quite a lot of money to complete really anything. And the other thing that you really should accept for yourself is that you cannot change anything in your real life in order to meet a particular collecting goal. If you set that budget at $20 a week, and all of a sudden you're spending $30, $40, $50 a week and it's impacting something else, well, then you got to take a good long look at your collecting and find out if it's viable. You can't make a change to a hobby that is going to adversely affect something that is not a hobby. If you're not getting gas in your tank, if you're not if you're falling behind on your credit card bills, if God forbid somebody else is depending on you and you're not able to meet that in the same way because you're collecting cards, then card collecting, you have to understand, is super duper secondary to all the real stuff that you have in your life. I'm fortunate, I'm blessed, not everybody else is, I totally understand that, but I also don't do something beyond my means. That's why you see me post sale videos after every booster case opening that I have, because that's what keeps the train running. That's a necessary thing. Otherwise, this is an investment that does not pay off for me at all, so I have to do something about that. So in terms of those things, those are a few things that you really should remember for yourself. But in terms of your ultimate goals, there's a few things that I should mention. The best thing that you can do as a Japanese TCG collector is you should seek value for your collection. And I'm not talking about you should buy a $20 card because in a few years it could be worth a lot. It could be worth $60 and then you get so much of your money back. No, I mean value for your collection. What's going to make you the happiest? That's going to cost you the least amount of money. Now, if you were to go out and buy a booster box of something like Awakening of the Psychic King, which is a late XY series box, you could probably find that online for $40 or $45, and that's great, that's awesome. It's a pretty cool set. Well, let's say you instead like the Black and White 4 expansion, Dark Rush, a lot more, but that box costs you $150. Now, what's better off? Should you be opening a Dark Rush booster box if you like that set a lot more? Probably not. If it's your absolute favorite set and that's your one-time buy, I get it, I understand, and maybe in that case it's worthwhile, but you can't make a change like that because the value to you as a person, to making you happy as a collector, is not going to be there. You should make sure that you're obviously within your budget and things like that, but you also don't want to overextend that portion of your budget for something that's really not going to make that much of a difference to you. If you have a $150 booster box and you can buy all the cards that you want from it for like 30 or 40 bucks, you got to go with that, because that's going to allow you to pursue some of this other stuff, to buy a different booster box that's a lot cheaper from a set that maybe you probably wanted to collect anyways. Another thing that is important is you got to give yourself wiggle room to skip stuff. You have to, I don't know what the best way to put this is. You have to be willing to let yourself off the hook with certain stuff. Maybe you really like all the main sets, all the Forbidden Lights and the Celestial Storms and Explosive Impact that's coming out. You like that they have big sets. I like big sets too. You like that there's, a bunch of different GXs in there and you could get some cool full arts, and that's great. But you have to also, maybe if you want to buy multiple boxes of those sets, you have to forgive yourself if there's a set that comes along that you do not want to collect because you're less interested in it. That will give you the opportunity to maybe buy an extra box of that other upcoming set that you're really excited for. Or if there's an older card and you want to go back and buy that, then you can tell yourself, I'm going to skip this so I can get that. And you really want to make sure that you are comfortable with the decision that you make too. You should never be beating yourself up for skipping a set that you don't like. You should never beat yourself up because there's certain stuff that you just can't put in your price range. Like, God forbid, if you're out there and you haven't gotten an Asarala full art yet from the Japanese, and you go online, you're like, I really wanted to complete this set, this is $140, I should do it, right? To make the set complete? Well, what's more important to you, getting that card or getting 2 to 3 new booster boxes? You have to accept that you can let some things go and it's not going to hurt you as a collector. In fact, it might help you because you have a better understanding of yourself, of what you want, of what you're willing to do, and be able to make that call to make a change because it's going to pay off for you in the long run. You have to be able to accept that for yourself. And the last thing down below, and I wrote it in all caps, I guess it was important. Stick to your plan enough that you will be satisfied with what you have. Now, if you wanted some pointers on collecting Japanese, you could watch my whole channel. I've got like 1,600 videos on here, but what works for me doesn't work for everybody. Prices are different, availability is different, and I collected literally every set. So somebody who is a Japanese collector could look at maybe an old video of mine of something that's like 4 or 5 years old and say, you know, I'm really jealous that he was able to open EX Battle Boost boxes and was able to complete that set and get those other items. And it's okay to look at other people's collections, or, I mean, in my case, I look at things like the Gold Star Espeon and Umbreon, or those really expensive full arts that I will never pay for myself. And I'm like, wow, that would be really cool to have in the collection. But I don't think less of my collection, and I don't have less satisfaction in my collection because I don't have those things. I'm very, very happy with where I am. But if you think about it, even if I were still collecting the way that I was before, which was opening one box of every new set, and just having what I had and maybe trading for or buying some other stuff, I think I'd still be pretty satisfied with what I had too. That's really, really crucial to being a Japanese collector, is to be not only accepting but thrilled about what you've accomplished and making sure that it works for you as well. So, I don't know, that's just some points that I wanted to touch on for you, the new Japanese collector, and for maybe you, the Japanese collector who's been around for a while, but maybe needed a video like this to help recenter themselves. If you have any questions about Japanese collecting, that comment section is down there. I'd be happy to answer any questions that I can, and I'm sure there are some other viewers who are big Japanese collectors who might want to share their opinions as well. Thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll be back with a booster pack opening sometime tomorrow.